I'll give her that one. I deserve
Today is January 13th, 2011, and we're here in the Portsmouth Church.
And I think Connie is, and I am, and all of us are interested in impressions or anything in the same vein of how we may have had impressions about anything else we've done this week. What do you feel, or what does this mean, coming to a place like this? Anybody care to offer anything?
It's beautiful. It's like you're in the early 1800s, you know?
I think Lorraine and I, we were talking when we were walking towards the schoolhouse, and she said that it kind of made her sad to look around and see everything, nothing going on. But, and I certainly can empathize with that. But the other thing is that it's still here, and it actually has a new life now, new life as a living historical artifact where people don't forget, like a memorial to what went on here, so that we do have a record of what we've done and how things went and how people lived and what lives were like.
Very well said.
Sort of an immortality for the residents, an immortality they might not have enjoyed had they not worked so hard and struggled so hard here and done something so significant.
Can I just say this is the first time that I've had NCCAT teachers so I can see my breath in the Portsmouth Church?
That's significant.
Add that to the record.
Miss Tillett had a wonderful observation. I wonder if she'd share it with us.
Well, it just reminds me of where I grew up, and it has to be the way that my village looked like 100 years ago. And I know where those original houses are, and if you take away all the houses that have been built in the past, 75 years, this is what would be there, the beginnings of the Wanchese village.
We live in such a disposable society that the permanence is very, very important. To be able to step back and take a look and not just keep rushing into the future without looking at where we came from before now.
Mary's always so poetic. She's just going on with us all week long. Thank you.
Yeah, I've enjoyed talking.
A sense of resiliency here that you have to pick and choose what you're going to worry about, what you're going to be upset about, what's going to really get to you, and you just sense that here.
Somehow I'm not thinking about Facebook when I'm standing here.
Yeah.
Or maybe I am, but anyway, and all the trappings out there. You come to a place like this with the sun coming through the window, quiet. Let's be quiet for like 20 seconds. And it's interesting to find a place like this, and they're all over, especially at this time of year. That's why we're here. It's why we aggravated Rudy to launch an extra boat. Thank him for that, to make this happen. He'd rather be home, probably warm, watching some race. Lisa, did you tell him the story?
I did, yeah. He said he remembers her. Yeah.
He does not.
That's what he said.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, that's right. I remember that. I'm thinking about that conversation. You told her that you'd like to go and all that stuff. She still hasn't forgot it.
I had to.
She's a pretty woman. She was a young girl back then, so I bet he does remember her.
Well, Connie, I know you didn't really want to get that on the part. Yeah, those are, we have priorities, and they're things like that. But anyway,
Can I tell a story?
tell a story.
Miss Ella Dixon, who lived in this house right over here, she was the church organist, and she told me this story. And she said that here in the Methodist Church, there used to be a church across the path over there next to Wash Roberts, supposedly. I haven't heard that, but she said this, and I believe Miss Ella. And she said there was one person walking down the path one day, and it was the Northern Methodist Church and the Southern Methodist Church, and they were divided along the lines the same way in the Civil War, North and South. And so one church was singing, "Will there be any stars in my crown?" And the Northern Methodist Church was singing, "No, not one. No, not one."
Yeah. That's right. Anybody else?
I just think that this whole week, the workshop itself, give us so much more, give us a lot of information about where we live. We know so much more about the state, about more, I better know more about this area than any other teacher in my school, I can tell from the way that they live. When I said I was going to come to this workshop, people, first idea is like, to the beach, it's cold weather? But now we know that that's the best time to come and to be able to explore all of these things that we've been exposed to, and actually feel all the senses that you talked about that you want us to awaken here, to be here and to be able to feel, like you said, it's the 20 seconds quiet here. I almost could feel that there was somebody walking here. And this whole just like looking at us, this 20 seconds quiet. So it's so much history, so much information, and I'm very thankful for being here and learning all of this and taking this back to my school. And I probably won't say it and say, hey, tell me about that. But I know that I learned that for myself, and if I need to share with somebody one day, I'll know exactly what I need to say. Because it was a lot of information, very valuable information for me as an educator.
Can I tell one more story?
Wait. This time I'm going to get it from the beginning.
Miss Dorothy told me this story. Mr. Theodore Salter, whose house, we at the visitor center, they were here in church, and of course there's no air conditioning, and they were having a revival, and the windows were up. And the congregation was singing, "Come and dine, the Master calleth, come and dine," and he shouted at the top of his voice, "Close the windows, we're inviting the mosquitoes in."
Yes. Anybody else? Mary?
You know what has amazed me the time that I've been here is, most of you know I'm from New York City originally, and just to be able to say, when you said, well, do you want to do this or do you want to do that, or we could do this, and you pick up the phone and make it happen. Mm-hmm. And people were not going to come out of their houses in New York City and go open up something that's closed for the season just because we want to do it. And that has really made an impression on me. And I don't know if it's all small towns, because I don't think it's too much in the small town I live in, but...
That's Alton Power. Alton Power.
It's all how it is. But I've really been impressed by that, by the welcome and the willingness to just open up the museum across the parking lot yesterday afternoon that is closed for the season. And just, sure, come on in, we'll open up the door.
It's like that part of that connection thing I was talking about. It's like you have taken us all in as a family.
Yeah.
We're like part of it, which I sense too.
Yeah.
And it may not have been worked out for us to be in this church today had it not been for your experience at South Point. That was kind of like a warm-up. How's that for a choice of words? I mean, you really proved yourselves standing out there like that. I thought, if that gang can, don't you think? Rudy, you know, how would you like to have stood out at South Point for an hour yesterday about sunset? Huh?
You guys are stupid.
No way. That's right.
But this seminar this week is not just for the faint of heart. And you guys, not only have you hung in there with us, but you are, I mean, you came at it with such a great attitude and the willingness to learn. So you've made it a great week for Alton and I too.
Good.
Yeah.
It's been fun.
Well, one thing I wonder about a small town too, Mary, is, you know, just thinking about, you know, your little monkey that has to be picked up, and if we don't get back in time, your mom's going to do it. And so this blending of work and home and family and community, I mean, it just kind of overlaps all the time. And, you know, if I need to run out to go to the doctor, I have to tell my principal, and I just kind of hope she's going to think it's okay that I'm leaving a half an hour early because I got to go to the doctor.
Mm-hmm.
You know, versus Alton knows that you got to go get monkey child. So, you know, it's important, and you're going to be right back. And so it's that, there's not that dividing line between, you know, work and private life. It's all commingled. It's interwoven. It's, it envelops each other.
And your supervisor needs to be left over here overnight.
Are
there any of us who could play the pump organ? Any organists here?
Come on, you know, one of
Piano player. I'm really checking faces out here. I can tell from, you know, since 1995 who can
Don't
really
be holding
play.
out.
I can play very badly.
Harvey?
I'm not a piano player. I could do Louie Louie.
Take that. It doesn't have to be a hymn.
Well, just so you can hear what it sounds like.
Okay, I'll be your assistant.
Now, when the Park Service first got this property, they had to repair the bellows in the church because the mice had eaten the bellows out.
That sounds pretty good.
We're in charge of this. He's not going to be able to play it. He can't play it.
That's the treble.
Anybody else?
You just said you wanted to see.
Yeah, well, that's right.
I'll play Mary Has the Lamb on it.
Does anybody read sheet music and play Amazing Grace?
Let me see it.
We can sing it without.
What do you want, piano?
Let me see the Amazing Grace sheet music first.
How about singing?
Hot negative.
Negative.
I'm not singing.
I'll sing really well. I cannot find it.
In the
I'm
back.
supposed to look it up.
Table contest.
Yeah,
That would probably be, all the pages are about to fall
All right.
Is this page 76?
out. Is it page 76? If it's page 76. Oh, no, but nearer my God to thee. There you go.
Titanic.
That's not good fun before we get on married.
Near my God today.
I was looking at the wrong one. Let's start. I might play one chord of it. I'm trying. Y'all
There you
can.
go. Got that big old camouflage backpack.
I can't get that out.
It's balanced. See, from the front to the back.
It's been 10 years since I had piano lessons.
Oh, it'll come back to you just like riding a bike.
Listen, on that piano, it won't matter.
Well,
They retune it right before homecoming, but we probably won't be able to tell if it's a wrong note.
yeah, it'd probably be a wrong note on this one. Y'all sing.
Little lamb, its fleece was white as snow.
Don't play.
It's too cold.
Just play the right hand.
It's not, the piano's not.
That's a nutria in between the hammer and the.
Real life. They come out and tune it about every other decade.
I think last time, Alton, the guy came to do that one, he said, please don't call me again.
I give up.
I'm doing all I can.
All right, well, we got to load up. And just bundle up. And Connie, thank you, your words, and everybody.
Thank you.
For what everything said and not said. Go forth.
I'll sing Amazing Grace as you go out. Do it, Connie. Amazing Grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I am found. Was blind, but now I see. Thank you, Alton. Oh my
Some
God.
good stuff.
I think so.